Joe Habike has made his way in studio here. Lots to get into. You notice you come on beer days.
I don't know why that is.
Today is beer day.
The last time I was here, the beer was good.
Well, Nagel will be in next hour with our craft beer of the week, and looking forward to that as I always do. Okay, on the line right now is Jim McCulley. I earlier had said I wonder if it's connected to McCulley Mountain, but it's McCulley Mountain, and this is Jim McCulley, so no affiliation there, Jim, am I correct?
That's true, yeah.
Okay.
It's spelled differently.
You don't own a mountain or anything like that?
No, unfortunately not.
Okay. So
the state bought them all up.
In fairness, I do have to say that, and I imagine you could tell by the interview that you heard, and you asked for equal time. I'm all for the tracks being repaired to go up to Lake Placid. Why do you feel that I'm wrong? Why would you like to see this not happen?
Well, the thing is I'm part of the Rail Trail Advocates, and I think what most people really don't understand about the situation is this has been going on for now 20 years. The original unit management plan from 1996 stated that the Adirondack Scenic Railroad had a 5-year window to prove that it was a viable operation. Okay? The bottom line is at that time, the Adirondack Railway Preservation Society, that is the parent company of ASR, stated that they would pay for all track repair and all structures to get the railroad running. Okay, state taxpayers have paid 100% for that, and that's to the tune of about $25 million so far. We're really in a tough situation because we can't really get actual figures and facts out of the New York State Department of Transportation. They're out of the Utica office because I think there's a groupthink operation going on. They give these ridership numbers like 74,000, and which is a nice number, but people should understand that if you get on the train here in Lake Placid and ride to Saranac Lake, which is 10 miles away, 9 miles away, they count you as 2 people. And then, of course, there's all these busloads of kids. We really have no idea what their paid ridership is.
So, are you saying they're
fudging, they're playing baseball with their numbers because how sports.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way of actually telling proper ridership, and according to the permit that allows them to use this rail corridor with the New York State Department of Transportation, they're supposed to furnish these numbers. The New York State Department of Transportation never demands these numbers. Nobody has any idea what the ridership is. If you look at their tax returns, they're functionally insolvent operation. Okay? And, here in Lake Placid to Tupper Lake where the trail is supposed to go in, we know from our experience what we see on this railroad. And we've seen very few people using it, and we see it as a recreational opportunity that would be quintessential Adirondack under the, with a trail, everybody can ride it. We can ride it from, basically we could have started riding it probably March 30th this year as for bicycles and such. Obviously during the wintertime it'd be for snowmobiling.
Yeah.
And I think what a lot of people down there don't understand, under the rail trail plan, it will not affect the Utica area whatsoever with the current operations of the Adirondack Scenic Railroad. And you said, you're supporting sending it north.
Yeah.
I got to ask, how many times have you paid to ride the railroad?
Well, you can't ask that question of somebody in the media.
Exactly.
In the media.
Well, but no, hang on. Let him explain, though.
What I'm saying, that's an unfair question to ask somebody in the media because but I know, for instance, I'll give you a good example. I know for a fact that when New York Sash does their they do a fall thank you to customers and members of the media, they buy out the train. And I know the Polar Express is, the only thing I want to come back to you on, and I didn't get a chance, is you're questioning their numbers, and you're surmising. You don't know that those numbers are not real. You don't know that their numbers are. Nobody
knows what their numbers are.
Okay, all right. So I would think that it would be fair. I think it would be fair to be able to know actual numbers. What are sale numbers?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think we need to know what the paid ridership is, and I don't understand why New York State Department of Transportation doesn't demand those numbers.
Right.
Under the rules and regulations of their permit, they are supposed to. And, and there's more to their permit that, they're supposed to be paying for the maintenance of the corridor. They're supposed to be paying really for everything. And yet the taxpayers are the ones who are actually paying for it. Right. I foiled and received over 1,000 documents for just 1 year on what the state pays for.
Okay.
It's rather amazing when you really look at it. And, like I said, under the trail plan, there are the Polar Express, the rides to Rempson, the rides to Fendera. None of that will change.
Right. Those are extremely. That Polar Express is sold out every year. You can't get on it.
And I have to say,
I
it's
don't
paid.
disagree. But the problem.
But what he's saying though is, I want to interrupt because I've just got a couple of minutes. What he's saying is that wouldn't change if the tracks go all the way to Lake Placid. Andrew, what's your?
I will say with regard to like the beer and wine trains and other events they're doing, I tried to recently book a couple spots on the train, and they're sold out.
Yeah. And the part I was making about radio is radio. But let me just make the part about radio that I made earlier, and that is people in media always get there. We're advertising things, and what usually comes along with that are tickets, and it's just the business that we're in.
How many times would you say you've been on it?
If the tracks are removed between Lake Placid and Tupper Lake, which is what the plan is,
yeah,
none of that would change.
I understand.
And I do find it rather amazing that yes, the beer and wine train do well. I mean, alcohol always helps. But the reality is here in Lake Placid, they canceled their beer and wine trains because nobody used them. Okay, and on top of it all, if you really look at what they do, the Utica to Big Moose run, which is their longest run, which is 56 miles. Okay, 3 years ago they started off. They had 187 people, and they were on the first train, and they were doing it 5 days a week. And I want you guys to think about this. Okay, they were doing it 5 days a week. The next trains, the rest of that averaged probably 40 people a week. They then went to just 2 days a week, and now they're down to 1 day a week doing their longest trip. People are not going to get on that train, pay $150. And don't get me wrong, there are some. I mean, if you're a rail buff, that's pretty much what it is. But to get on that train, and we'll just say the $150 per ticket, to drive to or to ride that to Lake Placid over 5 hours, when you can drive here for $30,
right? Okay,
in 2.5 hours. We have to be realistic.
Part of that, though, would be the experience, and I could see going and spending a week in Lake Placid and taking the train. I would do something like that. I'm going to ask you.
Just a quick question. You talked about the rails earlier that the Adirondack Scenic Railroad said that they would pay for any needed upgrades or enhancements. But I guess, can you clarify? You said the state has poured $25 million in for repairs, yet the reason we're talking about this is because they can't ride to Lake Placid because the repairs.
And the reality is, according to the state's 2007 rail survey, is those rails need another $43 million.
All right.
Okay, this isn't, and what people need to also understand is we're talking about a wall of trees for 118 miles. You can claim that it's scenic, but once you hit Rempson and you go north,
yeah. Well, it's like going on one of those whale watches. It's like I've never seen a whale on a whale watch. I see a lot of water, but I've just never seen a stinking whale.
But I mean, for this area, Utica and this area of the Adirondacks are two totally different areas. I mean, we have a different area code even. The reality is this area, the local boards and such have asked for the state to remove the tracks. We also have over 400 businesses that have asked for the tracks to be removed.
That's a good
Why? Why do you want the tracks removed?
Listen, I understand
why do you want the tracks removed?
Their section. And
why do you want the tracks removed? Is my mic on?
It is on. Yeah. Why do you guys up there want the tracks removed?
Because we think it'd be great for business, great for the area. I mean, think about it. Being able to ride through the Adirondacks on nothing more than a 2% grade on a bicycle. I mean, people would come from around the world to use it.
Well, couldn't it be, and I've heard people suggest this, and why can't there be alongside the tracks improved, and a bike trail, snowmobile trails could be along as well?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because here in the Adirondacks, what they did was they built this railroad basically through 100 miles of swamp. Okay? and you don't have these big open areas where, there's plenty of room. You're running causeways. They attempted to do that between Lake Placid and Saranac Lake, just so we're clear. Okay, they got $4 million, and they couldn't even get a mile with the $4 million that they had. The reality is the cost is too much, and the need for the railroad is too little.
All right,
Jim,
so the parochial view is that you want a bike trail, and the state view is that you want to have a connection between Utica, which is the, I guess you'd call it the western gateway to the Adirondacks, to Lake Placid, that would probably benefit, central New York by connecting
it would definitely
two
benefit
communities
us.
with mass transit. It sounds to me like you think that the overall opinion of whoever the decision makers are, is that the parochial view should outweigh the state view, which is to build and improve connections between.
I do think what people want in their own region is their business. As we all know, just as people in Utica don't think New York City should dictate to them.
I want to make 2 points. One of the things that you examples that you used is that
they'd be operating right now. Instead, they show up here July 1st when all the tourists are already here, and live off of that, and then leave as soon as the tourists leave at the end of the summer.
Yeah.
If you don't like the wall of trees, Jim.
We actually know our market very well here.
This is the point. Christine's going to make the point that I was going to make, but go ahead.
If you don't like the wall of trees, why on earth do you live there?
Right.
Well, hold on a second here. I didn't say. I told you what you would see on the Adirondack scenic.
Still, but I think that's the attraction. I hate to say, but that's the attraction of the Adirondacks. Is you don't see buildings, you see trees, and I
have a much more scenic view. Was my point.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, listen, I am out of time.
That's fine.
Good chatting with you.
The other thing I do want to say is you use the example of Big Moose. People aren't going up there. I got to tell you, and you're cutting yourself short. The difference between taking a train from Utica to Big Moose and Utica to Lake Placid, I would think you would admit, is much different.
Well, just so you know, the Oneida County did a study and said that if they spent the money redoing the railroads all the way to Lake Placid, there'd be just 7,000 more riders a year.
All right, well, let's see what comes of all of this. So the decision should be coming soon, though, Jim, and I appreciate your alternative opinion. Thanks.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. Yep. I haven't changed my mind on the top. I still think that it would be a benefit to go from here to up there. It would benefit us.
Yeah.
Well,
certainly
I think it would benefit more than just us.
You're absolutely probably right. Listen, I got a break. Hold on tight. We'll get into a little more of this. And beer coming in. It'll always make things get even more exciting. WIBX Utica Rome. It is 8 o'clock.